Afternoon, and the first item on the agenda is the minutes of the last meeting held on the 16th of December. Is everybody content that they are an accurate record? If you could just indicate. Thank you very much. I'll sign those at the end. Now, apologies for absence. I've got a note here that Councillor Henry sends his apologies, and Councillor Creamer, you are substituting for Councillor Henry. Welcome. Councillor Payne says his apologies, and Councillor Pringle is attending on his behalf, and pleased to see you. I understand there are apologies from Councillor Williamson, but there doesn't appear to be any substitute. Have we heard anything from Councillor Smith? No? Right, okay. Well, those apologies are, I think, accepted, and the absences noted. Thank you very much. Item number 3, declarations of interest, disclosable pecuniary and private interests. Are there any? Nope. Item number 4 is the Local Government and Social Care Ombudsman's decisions from November to December of last year. And you can see that the Local Government Ombudsman has found in our favour on the issues that have been reported to the Local Government Ombudsman. So that is good news. I have raised the question as to whether or not it's possible to head off complaints to the Ombudsman. I'm not wanting to stop people, but when we get to the end of the internal process, our final letter that goes out has to point complainants in the direction of the Ombudsman if they want to take it further, and which clearly these 5 people have done. I suspect that's a way of keeping the Ombudsman in a job, but that would be the cynic talking and not for putting into the minutes. So that's possibly why we get these reports that go to the complaints that go to the Ombudsman, and that there's no substance or justification for them. So I'm happy to move the recommendation, which is on page 8 of the booklet.
I'll second that recommendation.
Thank you. Are there any comments on these dismissed complaints, or are you just happy to note them, accept them?
Absolutely accept them.
Councillor Butler.
If I may, just a very quick question, and maybe I've been mischievous and reading too much into this, but the second one that was decided not to investigate further about detour along public road, private road, is that linked to the did he try again then? Is that linked to the one where the full investigation where no fault found, or am I reading too much into that? It's because they're very similar complaints, or am I worrying too much? Probably worrying too much.
I believe there were 2 separate complaints.
There were 2 separate complaints.
Okay, right, thank you.
You're the cynic.
So keep taking the medication and calm
That's right.
down.
I'll go back into my corner in a few
Thank you.
minutes.
Okay, well, the report has been moved and seconded. Can I have a show of hands, those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. The next item is the counter-fraud progress, which comes before us. And again, I'm happy to move the recommendation.
I'll second that recommendation.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions on that report? Councillor Clark.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I'm just curious, really. The table at the top of page 14, where we talk about the blue badges cancelled or withdrawn and the concessionary travel passes. I suppose it's just a general question covering both of them, really. There just seemed to be quite a large number of cases. So I was trying to, in the paragraphs 6 onwards, etc., I was just trying to estimate or trying to understand the detail. Are they actually fraudulent, or are they where they've lapsed and you know, that they're no longer relevant?
Who's going to pick that one up, Mr. Disney?
Yeah, it's an observation. It's a subtlety on the NFI reporting. They'll pick up the matches where they could possibly be out of date items as well, because the data could be 2 years late on the NFI. So majority of those that are identified are where there's a cancellation that should be made. So they've actually expired and the dates have passed, rather than actually being fraudulent activity. We have to be very careful on, although it's called the National Fraud Initiative, we have to be very careful that what they're actually doing is finding matches in data. What we're not saying is these are all fraudulent in that report. The ones that would be caused as fraudulent or fraudulently used are where the inspectors would go out and make sure that they're being used in the correct parking spaces, and then if they were found to be used by the wrong person, that would constitute fraudulent or misappropriate use. Those cases, I think we had a presentation about 12 months ago from the Blue Badge officer who explained how they work with the City Council to enforce that. So you're quite right, these are through items that should be cancelled through the calculation of NFI rather than actually being fraudulent.
Well, through you, Chairman, but are they fraudulent ones? Are they included in this figure, or are they completely separate?
They would be separate from this figure.
Right.
Is that helpful? Listening to what you've just had to say, I think it might be useful if we could have that presentation, because we've got new members here now, at an early meeting of governance and ethics, so that the newer members, like myself, can be reassured, because I know that there are campaigns to pick up fraudulent use, aren't there? So if you could include all that in a presentation to the committee, I think that would be useful. Would members be happy for that to take place, so that you're better informed and reassured?
I think that would be quite appropriate to do at the next update, which will be the annual fraud report. So picking up when we would do in sort of May time, May, June, pick up the annual returns and then give that presentation.
That'll be fine. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions on that report? Well, the recommendation has been moved and seconded. Could I have a show of hands in favour, please? That is carried. Thank you. The next item is the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act 2000 Annual Report, which again is set out in front of you, and we have a recommendation at the bottom of page 23, which I'm happy to move.
I'll second that recommendation.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments or questions? Any officer want to say anything? No? Good. It means it's all in the report. No comments or questions. Well, in that case, can we move to the vote then, please? All those in favour, would you please show? Thank you. That's carried unanimously. And the last thing we come to is the work programme, which is set out in front of you. You will recall, I think it was at our last meeting, we did suggest, no, we did more than suggested, we were saying that we should have a senior representative, preferably the corporate director from Adult Social Services, come and explain to us the issues concerning the number of ombudsman's reports that were found against the council and found against the department regarding what we felt was poor communication. Now, I have had an email from the corporate director outlining some of the things that they do, which I'm happy to share with you after this meeting, well, all members of the committee, and I'll send them to you two, and then you can pass them on as appropriate, and yourself. I'm suggesting we don't actually specify a particular meeting at this stage, because as you will appreciate, social services is under acute pressure at the moment for obvious reasons, and I wouldn't want to add to the workload or to put additional burdens on them at this time. So with your agreement, we'll put it at the bottom of the work programme, so it's there as a reminder, and when hopefully, and it won't be too far in the future, things ease off a bit, then we can ask the corporate director to come and give us a detailed explanation. Is that okay? So with that, I'm happy to move the work programme.
I'll second that recommendation.
Thank you. If there are no further comments, can we go to the vote? All those in favour? Anyone against? No, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. And so I declare the meeting closed at 2:10. It's been rather a long meeting this afternoon, so thank you for your forbearance and patience.